All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about somebody we have not spoken about in quite a bit, and that's going to be Alyssa Mercante. Yes, that Kotaku urinalist who has essentially been gone from the news for a couple of weeks because honestly her relevancy is now down in the dirt. Nobody's talking about her anymore. Well, apparently she's trying to strike lightning twice. What she's trying to do is get everybody to click on her latest article, which is essentially complaining about right-wingers and identity politics when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone...
And you know what's the interesting thing about Alyssa Mercante making this article that I'm not going to click, and I'm just going to click on that part place instead? The most amazing thing about her making this article is that it shows and it proves that they 100% coordinate their attacks every single time. Alyssa Mercante puts out this article, and not even just an hour or two later, every other mainstream outlet has a similar article trying to, you know, disavow right-wingers and complain about white people being racist against Yasuke and all this other nonsense, and they're all quote tweeting each other, and they're just trying to put out the same garbage. Well, apparently, Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante plays dumb, no shocker there, and blames Mark Kern after she described Japanese people as racist for calling out Assassin's Creed Shadows. So let's get into this article, guys, from that Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante played dumb and put the blame on Mark Kern, aka Grooms, after she described Japanese people as racist for calling out Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, here's the best thing about all of this. I think that it is hilarious, and it is a great stint of irony that a bunch of white extreme leftists in the mainstream gaming industry are telling Japanese people that they're racist for being upset over how they are depicted in a video game from a company who's trying to steal their culture and utilize their entire culture to profit off of in Japan. Like, think about that for a second. Ubisoft, the French company Ubisoft, is trying to make a video game adopting the culture and heritage of Japan, and then by utilizing and adopting it, they have then corrupted it, twisted it to sell it out there to the DEI Western masses, which isn't really that much, by the way. The modern audience doesn't exist. But they're putting it out there, and then you got people like this defending it and saying, well, if you don't like it, you're racist. Yeah, if you don't like the way we depict you, you're racist. I mean, it is insane to me that somebody can do something like that, and yet here we are, because it's not just her, okay? Alyssa Mercante is extremely, extremely irrelevant, and the only reason we're talking about this is because I want to showcase exactly what she's doing without actually having to click on her article, which is why I'm on that Park Place. Mercante initially reacted to a statement from Ubisoft addressing the backlash the company has been receiving for its Assassin's Creed Shadows game. The company has received significant backlash on social media, on YouTube, and in the form of Change.org petition, which, by the way, that petition is almost at 100,000 signatures. All right, that's more than what Stellar Blade got, which is amazing to me. And again, this started from a Japanese player, and it basically turned into this whole entire thing. So almost 100,000 signatures, and they were forced to respond to it. It says that Ubisoft of insulting Japanese culture and history. In fact, it even calls on the company to immediately discontinue the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows and show sincere research and respect for Japanese history and culture. Now, we knew that wasn't going to happen. Right? We knew that there's no way in hell Assassin's Creed Shadows is not coming out. We knew that there's no way in hell Ubisoft was going to cancel the game. YouTuber Shohei Kondo also explained why the Japanese are signing the petition and taking issue with the game, which we did react to this video on Hypnocast. So if you guys missed it, go check out some of my previous streams. But let's talk about the actual Alyssa Mercante nonsense that's going on. Let's see what it says. We already went over this whole stupid response here from Ubisoft, which honestly, this whole response is pretty damn pathetic. This is basically saying, we're sorry you feel this way, but we're going to continue doing what we do. Mercante responded to this post, which was specifically addressed to Japanese players, by writing on X, maybe just say you're racist. Response to a video game is indicative of moral decay. Get bent instead of this. I mean, honestly, I have not seen any of her tweets because I have her blocked, right? Because I told you guys the entire story of why I blocked Alyssa Mercante. Because when you block someone like that who likes to block you, then unblock you, then block you again because they can't stay away from you, when you block them and you take the power away from them, it drives them insane. It made her lose her mind for a good couple of weeks, and that was all the joy that I needed in order to block her. Not only that, she's literally fucking useless. Like, there's nothing that Alyssa Mercante says that makes any sense ever, and she's just a rage baiter. As much as she wants to tell everybody else they're rage baiters, that is what she's doing. Her relevancy is tied to how much rage she can bait from her articles. From there, she published an article on Kotaku claiming that anyone criticizing Ubisoft was just engaging in hate, says the person making an entire article based on hate, by the way. Her headline blares, "This was never about anything other than hate." She declares in the article, "A fledgling but ferociously loud group of gamers will tell you that the Assassin's Creed Shadows backlash is about respecting Japanese culture or refusing to accept woke ideologies that are being forced into their games by consulting groups who hold no real power. But just like in 2014, during the first full-throated iteration of Gamergate, this was never about anything other than hate." Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, they are still, to this day, trying to convince you and gaslight everybody else that the gamers who are angry at this shit, the ones who are fed up with this performative DEI bullshit, are the small minority. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to say that it's a small, loud minority. I want to make it very clear, you are not the minority. We are not the minority. These journalists are the minority. They're the ones who are holding on to any possible way to stay relevant because they know their time is around the corner. They know that they are going to eventually exit stage right because they're going to be completely useless more than they already are. So you're trying to convince everybody that we're the small minority, but let's be very clear, you're in fact the minority. Mercante supports the claims, writing that the responses to Ubisoft's posts were exactly what you would expect: racist images, slurs, and calls for historical accuracy in a video game series that has always been steeped in science fiction. An unpublished community note, a feature frequently used by users to add context to posts, reads Assassin's Creed N-word squire. That's actually kind of funny. I'm not going to lie to you. But listen, at the end of the day, man, when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're right. There is no doubt about it. The game has absolutely and always has been fiction. It has used historical situations, but basically made an entirely fictional story over it. And they also had fictional lead characters. But here's the thing about the fictional lead characters. Those fictional lead characters were meant to make you realize the time period of what you were playing in, right? Those characters all had their races and ethnicities based in the location of which the game takes place. And it's not our fault that people are now trying to care about historical accuracy when Ubisoft was the one, and you can go back if you don't believe me, they were the ones who marketed this game as historically accurate. That's how they started their marketing campaign, because they already knew that the backlash they were going to get for making an obvious fucking performative DEI choice in picking Yasuke was going to get backlash. They already knew that. So they had, or at least they thought they had, a strategy in place to deal with that, and that was calling him the first ever historically accurate character that's ever been showcased in Assassin's Creed. They preached about that nonstop because they thought the more they talked about it being historically accurate, the less backlash they were going to be able to get. Well, in all actuality, that's not the case, because they based their entire ideology off of the lies of a white man called Thomas Lockley, who has proven to be lying about everything he wrote about Yasuke in his book, because he himself wrote the lies on Wikipedia and published them. Not only does Mercante declare that Japanese gamers and others criticizing the game are just fueled by hate, but she absurdly claims it is connected to U.S. politics. Here we go. Here we go. This is literally the mindset of a gaming Western journalist. This is what it is. She thinks that everything revolves around the U.S. The entire world revolves around the politics of the United States of America. She doesn't want to see the worldview of anything else, because for her, her worldview is the only thing that matters. She writes, the reactionary right-wing movement. Yeah, because every single Japanese player who's angry is right-wing, right? Like that's the thing. Every single player, every single gamer who can see the absolute nonsense on the wall right now is all right-wing, right? So if I find one centrist person, if I find one, just one libertarian person, if I find anybody who's not right-wing complaining about this, it will literally destroy your entire fucking argument. Your whole argument is honestly, it's like a house of cards. It is based on the simple fact in your mind that everybody disagreeing with this is a right-wing person. So all I have to do is find one non-right-wing person to destroy your house of cards, and your argument comes falling down. Like, that is how pathetic and weak your entire argument is. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, Alyssa Mercante will try to tie this to whatever she can try to tie this to, whether it be right-wing hate, politics, like racism, sexism, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we know she's lying. It's the same thing she did with the Sweet Baby Inc. article. It's lying by omission, but it's still lying at the end of the day. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.